I apologize, everybody. I don't know what the deal is. So let me see if I can start this again. Let me go down and control it this way. So as you can see, tonight is Jamie Lee McManus Mayhew. She's going to be doing the family search tips and techniques, which is going to be great because a lot of things have changed. Greg Heil will be doing a educational moment later. He's going to be he went to Roots Tech, so he's going to have some follow up on that. And if anybody has any future educational moments that they would like to have presented, please email your suggestions to events@cccgs.com. And here's some updated information. We're going to be having our membership business meeting in May, like it was presented before. Voting, we have a couple nominees that were that are going to be hopefully for the board. There's about 4 individuals, I think. So the voting information begins March 17th, and you'll be getting an email this weekend reminding you, and how quick reminder of how to go in and click on the links and be able to go in and vote and complete your ballot. And I believe it ends April 10th. Okay, so let me get rid of all of this. I'm going to stop sharing. Try to go back to everybody. And I don't know why this is open. So with that, I am going to go ahead and try to get rid of all of this stuff on my screen. Apologize. Oh, this is so aggravating. I'm sorry. Okay, don't say. Okay, so let me get back to introducing Jamie. By the way, I stopped sharing my screen, so can we still see Jamie?
No, what we see right now is your actual desktop.
Okay, so let me stop sharing, but it's not.
You want me to share my screen?
Let's see, who can share? Doesn't matter. I don't want to share. I want to go back to Zoom. Okay, we're in Zoom, but that's not helping either. So,
you know, if I share my screen, I think it'll override yours.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and try to get out of everything. Perfect. Okay.
Can you see mine now?
Yes, I can.
All
Thank
right.
you. Okay, so Jamie is a California native with deep Southern roots, a speaker, a family genealogist, a genealogical educator, occasional blogger, and professional researcher. She is active in numerous societies and organizations and is currently the vice president of the APG Writers Special Interest Group. And she has served as president of the California State Genealogical Alliance, the Southern California chapter of the Association of Professional Genealogists, and the Genealogical Society of North Orange County, California. She holds a BA in sociology and an MA in educational technology and a professional learning certificate in genealogical studies. Lots of great repertoire. So with that, Jamie, then you've got your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and let you begin.
All right. Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to share with you today some of the tips, techniques, and surprises using FamilySearch website. There's been some changes, and some of the things that I'm going to show you came directly from Roots Tech because that just happened and lots was shared. So as I click on this and it doesn't move, we're going to have fun tonight. There we go. To use FamilySearch, you really need to have a sign in. You can do a lot without it, but it's real easy. I'm not going to really go over this. If we were in person, I'd be having you raise your hands, and I would hope that everybody would raise their hands that they already have a sign in and are using FamilySearch. So when you use FamilySearch, what most people do is they start off trying to search historical records. They go up here to search and they just choose search and they put in their name of the person they're looking for, and they search the historical records. They find something, they're excited. If they don't, they say, FamilySearch doesn't have anything on my person. And that's not correct. So when you start off and you do the search, you may do, this is my grandfather, Milton Lee Orr, who was in Alabama, remember the Southern roots. And when I search for him, this is the kind of results that you get. And you can see from here that there's a number of records that he's in. When they have a symbol like this, it means it's attached to somebody on the family tree. If it has a camera like this, it means that there is an actual picture of the record. And if most of them will have something like this, which is a transcript. You can look down this screen and you'll see that the one that says billion graves and the one that says find a grave has, instead of a camera, it has a camera within a piece of paper. And that means that you can view the record, but it's on a separate website, which billion graves and find a grave. So this is what you usually see. What you may not be aware of is this preferences up at the top, because when you click on that preferences, you can make changes to what you see. Right now, it's on a fixed table. You can change it to a data sheet. You can change it so it has minimal information. So you see you see less information and see more records. You can do all information, which will get you a lot more record of the record on your screen. If it's in a foreign language, you can have it translated or have the original text. And what you may not realize you can do is that you can come down here at the bottom and you can export the search results. You can export them as a CSV or as an Excel file. And you can export a number of them so that you get them actually in a spreadsheet. So this is what's fairly typical of what people do. What they may not be aware of is where it says here, search by place. And when you search by place, it says to, whoops, went too far. This is the one I have to go over to the out of here and show you what you're going to see when you see search by place. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to open this. And I'm going to go here to search and I'm choosing records. Now you should see the whole screen now, do you? Do you see FamilySearch?
I think I'm still seeing your PowerPoint part of your slide.
Okay, I'm going to make sure it's on FamilySearch. And do you see it now? Come on. Doesn't
Are
want
you
to.
sharing screen again?
I got to get back here to share the screen. Share screen, and I want it on Chrome. Share. All right, now you should see it.
Yes.
All right. This is actually FamilySearch itself. And what I was looking at here was search by place. And I can put in the name of a place or I can browse places. So if I wanted to put in Contra Costa, California. Come on. Come on. Move. All right, well, we'll do it browse places and we'll click on California. We'll click on California here and we're starting off at the state level. This is what you see when you browse an individual location. And so you see more than you may be aware of. One of the first things is you have access to the Learning Center here. You also have access to indexed historical records and you can search within them. You can go to genealogies, it says there were no trees found for Contra Costa. If there were a current indexing project, you would be able to go there, and you can search image-only historical records or go directly to the catalog. Let's choose a different place. I'm going to go back, and this time I'm going to choose Europe, and I'm going to choose France. In France, if you've just started to research and you don't really know too much about researching France, you'll see that you have access to this learning center where you can see your part 1, part 2, finding your French ancestors out of the ashes of Paris. And there are more learning researches, courses. There's indexed historical records, and you can see all of France's collections by clicking on it. And when you click on it, you'll see that some of them have that little camera saying that there are actual records you can see, and some of them don't have that. But look at some of these dates. These are fairly, recent acquisitions. When you scroll down here on France, you'll see that there were a bunch of community trees that had information about France. And there are some indexing. Many of you may not have thought that there was indexing anymore, but there are some indexing projects that are available through this website. There are image-only historical records, and we're going to talk more about those as we go along. And there are the catalog records. So this is one of those things that you may not have looked at when you went to search historical records. So you may want to try for the locations that you're looking for, and try looking at the places and find out what you could find about researching that location. So now I click off of there and I go back to share, and I go back to there we are. Okay. Did I do that right? Everybody can see the right things. Okay, good.
Yep, you're good.
Got a little faster. All right. One of the specific things I want to talk about is the FamilySearch catalog. And there was a fascinating talk at Roots Tech by Robert Raymond, and I'm going to share a lot of the information that he shared with us about the FamilySearch catalog. You may have heard some things about it being frozen and there being 2 catalogs, and there's just a lot that's gone on. So if you click and start, you can go to the wiki page and see some information about the catalog, and that's useful. There are a lot of icons that are used in the catalog that I showed you. This one, which showed that a record was attached to a person. This one is where you find the details. This one we looked at before, showed on a partner site. This one is, if you see this icon, it means that they're at a partner site, but they may require a subscription, such as Ancestry. This means that the image is on FamilySearch, but it's not indexed. If it has a magnifying glass, it means it is indexed. And occasionally you still see things like this, which says they're on a microfilm or microfiche, and you must be at the FamilySearch library to see those. If you see this dreaded key, it means that you cannot see that record at home. You have to be at a family history center or an affiliate library. So let's look at some other information about this catalog. It is really a new FamilySearch catalog. The old catalog was ancient. The old catalog was first developed in technology terms in the ancient time of 1996. It was called OLib Worldview, and that was the catalog that we used. It was The last service pack for it was in 2021, so it is no longer supported. And the support was completely discontinued by 23. So what was happening in 1996? We don't think of that as, those of us of a certain age. That wasn't that long ago. But the Palm Pilot was released that year. And that was the year that they had the first flip phone. The Nintendo 64 was still being used with game cartridges, and the web was only 5 years old. And that was the year that the number of payphones had peaked the year before. So you can see how long ago that original catalog was. So what's the history of this FamilySearch catalog? If you went to the FamilySearch library, if you've been to any library, you know that we started off with card catalogs. There were 3 of them. There was a title, there was a subject, and there was an author card. And we had to look through all those catalog boxes to find what we wanted. FamilySearch then put it on microfilm, then microfiche, then a compact disc. Finally, they created an online catalog. So before 2021, what you had was anytime they brought in a new physical asset, that's a book that they put in the library or a map that they put in the library, it would go into the old catalog. New digital images went into the old catalog. And on the right there, you can see what the old catalog looked like. That was before 21, which isn't that long ago. Between June 21 and September of 22, they released a new thing called historical images. And they kind of separated out. The old catalog had new physical things put in it, like your books and your maps and your digitized books. But all of those people who were running around the world taking pictures, digital pictures of the documents, those digital images did not go into the catalog between that time. They went into what was called Explore Historic Images. In September of 22, they froze the old catalog. And that gave us 3 different things. You had the old catalog, which I was still using up until weeks ago, that had not been updated since 2022. The new physical books and digitized books were put into what was called the FamilySearch library catalog, and most of us were never using that because we didn't know it existed. And new digital images were only being put into the historical image pages. So today, what do we have? We have a new state-of-the-art system, which was introduced just around Christmas. And very few people even noticed they had changed. They were happy about that because they made a change in what they were doing and didn't get many complaints. Then they made another change. They started trying to get all their place names standardized. You have places where in the country a name was one thing, but in the United States, we called it something else. And so people all over the world didn't know quite how to look up things, so they standardized the names. And this caused a little bit of an uproar and happened in January, long time ago. One thing that can help you with this is to go to, you have to actually type this in and it's in your handout, familysearch.org/research/places. And when we look at another thing, I'll show you that again. So there also have made some changes, and you look on the right where the catalog is and you'll see it looks different than the old catalog on the previous page. So they've just changed the look and feel of the pages, and you'll see that as we go through some of the catalog. They are presently in the process and should be completed soon, moving all assets to the online calendar. That means bringing in the things that were in the images, bringing in the things that were in the library catalog. So there's a lot of changes. I suggest that, excuse me, if you want to learn more about this, you can go to Roots Tech, and you can look up. There is a webinar on the catalog, the changes in the catalog, and there is about a 10, actually it's a 16-page handout on the changes and the specifics of all of the changes that they have made to the catalog. So we'll start talking about them. So now I'm going to show you the catalog. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to switch over to Google Chrome. Okay. So to get to the catalog, you go to Search Catalog. This catalog has this new look to it. If I were to click here, it goes to the library catalog, which, as I said, I didn't even work with this library catalog. I wasn't really aware up until last weekend what the changes were. So on this catalog, you can search by a number of different things. Standard way to search is by place, because that's how records are filed. Now, a change that's been made, if you've used the catalog before, it would say United States, comma, Orange County, comma, California. I'm sorry, United States, comma, California, comma, Orange County. It now goes from smallest to largest. So if I'm looking for Shelby, Alabama, I'm at Shelby County. I have a lot of relatives there. I type Shelby, comma, Alabama, and you'll see it in the drop down. The drop down is useful because if you're looking, most of my examples will be in the United States, and the locations are not as confusing as if you look in other countries where things are very, the spellings are different depending on where you're looking. Things like Ukraine and Russia. If a place was in the Ukraine, it might have one name. If it changed locations and became part of Russia, it might have another name. In the United States, we would call it something different. So you had several different ways of saying the name. So you can search by place. You can search by surnames. Most of the times, we don't have a lot of records under surnames, but sometimes there are names of famous people or people who have a whole entire book that's named after them that might be under surnames. If you know the name of the title of the book you're looking for, you can search under titles, authors. You can use subjects. There's a whole section of subjects like immigration, land and property, that are very specific to library catalogs, and you can search on those subjects, or you can use keywords to try to search. But let's try Shelby, Alabama. Now, I can choose here to search for anything that's available, only things that I can see online, or things that are at a family search center. And when I click there, it lets me choose which family search center, and most of those records are in Salt Lake. I could also, if I had done a search on Ancestry and found a record that they did not have the record on Ancestry, but they had the fiche number or image group number, I could look it up using this or the call number if it was a book. So I'm just going to do anything and search. This is where you see some of the changes to the way it looked. It was different before, and now what you have is a cleaner look for it. There's a lot of things about Alabama, a lot here. We're going to start off and we're going to look at church history. When I look at church history, you'll see that there's one that says Baptist Church in Alabama. For Baptist Church in Alabama, there's one microfilm reel, and these notes would help you if you look through them and you know what the church is that you're looking for. You can also click here, and you can look on WorldCat to see if you can find something if you can't find it here. But as you scroll down, you'll see that there is a record here. When I click on this, whoa, we've updated a few things. It's giving me some more shortcuts, but I'm not going to go over them. These are what you would see if you were actually scrolling through the film on a film reader. When I look at this, you can see there are over 1,000 records, and there are folders. When I click on a folder, I'll see that this is a Baptist church. I'm looking at something that was originally in a cabinet. If I go to the next item in that one, you'll see there's an actual record of this person in that Baptist church. This might be something you might be interested in looking at. In addition to this, let's look at one other thing down here. I'm going to scroll down a little farther, and I'm going to look at land and property. A lot of you may not have researched on land and property in FamilySearch because before there's a special thing I'm going to tell you about in a minute, but it's a little difficult to access these records. So people have been not looking at them in as much. They are not indexed in the same way as all the other things are indexed. So you have not been able to just put the name in and have it show up on your screen that there's a match. So let's look at this one. And it says, this is a preliminary description provided to allow immediate online accesses. Images have not been reviewed. These are some of the new images that have just been given to us through FamilySearch. And because they were part of that images, but they're now in here. And you can see that if I click on them, there's no magnifying glass. They are not imaged. And when I look at them, these are rent records. I'm going to look, and wow, there's a lot of things here difficult to look through. We're going to find other ways that we could look through these. So let's look at this one. We're going to go down here farther, and I'm going to look at deeds. Deeds are another type of index, or another type of record that's available on FamilySearch. Just like if you went to a courthouse, you'd find a book that had indexes. This one has a direct and reverse index to deeds from 1819 to 1887, and it has a general index to deeds A to Z from 1829 to 1888. So let's click on that. What you're seeing here is what it would look like if you were getting the book. When you click on one, what you see, and let's see if I can make it bigger for you. What you see is the direct index has the grantor, who is the seller, the grantee. It shows when it was filed, and it says it's in book 4 on page 295. Okay, all right. Now, so the next thing I'd have to do, I keep going all the way back. Let's go down to land and property. Let's go back here. That said book 4. These are all indexes. Here's a did that say book 4 or book something else? Let's look at that again. Book number 4. Well, it may not be there. So let's show you a different one. Let's look at this one here. When I actually go to the website, if I knew what the page was and clicked on that page, what I would see are actual records, which I can scroll through, go from one page to another, and look at what was, you see the page number in the books. So this is the way you had to get to some of these records, or have had to. There's some other things that are a little different in here. Let's go down to vital records, and there are 8 different volumes or about vital records. Let's look, see what they have on marriage records. When I click on marriage records, it shows that the Daughters of the American Revolution created this, and this is a book, but it's also been formatted. I mean, not formatted. The format is digitized. It's been digitized. If I go down and look again, this one, we're going to look at Shelby County. It says that they're available online. So I can look at this directly. I can go on here. Remember my ancestor, Milton. His name was Milton Orr. And I don't need to put anything more. You can see you can browse through these, but this is for Alabama County marriages. Alabama, and it's by county, but it's for the entire state. That got me directly to this. This is my uncle, and these people are not related to me at all. And this is my grandfather. And I could go to these records. All right, so those are kind of some general ways that you can use your catalog. Okay. Now I've got to get back to my original. Let's stop the share. And this time I'm going to okay. All right. I told you that a lot of these things were originally put into historical images. And I want to show you some of the how you use or can use the historical images to locate different records. If I were to do a search on Contra Costa, California, just the same way as I did when I was looking, just doing the catalog. Let's get back there again. Getting a little better at this. All right. I'm going back up here and I'm searching on images. I'm going to put in here Contra Costa. Here's Contra Costa, California, and I'm going to search. Now, look at this. This is a little different now. We're looking at actual images. You know that these censuses are indexed somewhere because you can just search the index. But this is the actual images. So if I click here, I'm getting to the population census. This is volume 6. It has 3 counties in it. And if I go through it, I'm walking through the census. So you're seeing all of the images that have been digitized by FamilySearch. So let's look down a little farther. If I go up here to the top, let's go into my options. I can't see my edge over here. I'm sorry. I'm going to move you guys off of here. All right. Are you seeing any of these funny little things that are popping up on my screen? All right. I can search by map. I can show the map there. I can refine my search and actually go to this map. And you'll see these interesting little, record blobs, I guess. And when you go on them, you'll see that in Walnut Creek, there are 225 record groups that have come from this area. I could, if I look again at that, you'll see up in Concord, there are 6. And over here on Richmond, there are 129 records. And over here in Byron, there is 1 record that comes from there. So this is an interesting way to see where those records came from, because as I said, you're looking at the actual digitized records that we have. Let's get back one more. All right. Here is one that is the business records and cemetery records and ministers records and miscellaneous records. It's got a whole lot of things. It's item 9 of 25. And when I click on that and I look at the first record here, I'll see this is from the library. This is an autobiographical sketch of James Armour Long, and it's a whole sketch. So this has got interesting things, but these things are not real easy to look through, are they? They're kind of, you've got to do a lot of looking to look through these things. Let's change this and look at Georgia. I'm looking at Stewart, Georgia. Here it comes again, and I'm clicking on it. This shows what volumes they're in. And I can make sure I'm doing this right. I've lost it. I told you they make changes all the time. I've lost a column that used to be there. Stewart County, Georgia marriage licenses. These are corrections. This happens to be typed. That should be easy to index, but it's not indexed. So most of these are all now going to be on the on the catalog. They haven't been shown. You're not seeing them right now on the catalog, but they will be on the catalog, and maybe not all of them, but most of them. All right. Well, you don't need to see that. All right. I want to get back to my first one again. All right. I hope some of you have heard about FamilySearch Labs. And one of the parts to FamilySearch Labs that's going to save you a lot of time on all those things that I've been showing you that aren't indexed is full text search. This came out last year at Roots Tech, and I hope you have heard about it. full text search is still an experiment, but it should get out of that level pretty soon, I would think. So
We're,
let me,
I was going to say, Jamie, we're just seeing a black screen
oh no, oh no.
with the green arrow. And now we see you.
And now we see, I thank you for telling me,
Sure.
because let's make sure you see, do you see this family search screen again? Still black.
Not yet. Nope.
All right, that's all right. We don't need to
I'm
panic.
not panicked after what I went through earlier. It's all good.
Well, that's interesting what that brought me to.
Is it coming up on your end?
Yeah, but I am going to close.
Are you sharing? It doesn't look like you're sharing still, so I wonder if that's it.
Yeah, I was sharing. I had switched to sharing, but give me just a second
Sure.
and I will share it again. Just make sure I'm there. I have to sign in. All right, now, come on. What I'm seeing right now is a nice little spinning wheel. I always want to see the spinning wheel.
That's
All
not a
right,
good sign, is it?
yeah, all right. I am now going to share. Do you
There we
see
go.
Family Search?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good. Is it big enough?
There you go. A little bit bigger.
A little bigger. There we go.
In the
All right.
continent. Yep. Good.
Okay, to get to the Family Search Lab, there are several ways you can do this. One is when you log in on your first screen, you can scroll down while it's scrolling up, and you'll see on the right-hand side, it says Family Search. That's me and my mom and dad. It always shows my picture. I don't know why, since it's been there for a while. You can go over here and choose View Experiments. You can also type in familysearch.org. You don't need the English, you just need labs. That gets you to this experiments page. I would love to have everybody raise their hands and tell me how many people have managed to see full text. We're going to go to the full text experiments. And I remember I was showing you how you could search and find a record about land, and you had to go through all of the indexing and look through all of this different stuff. Well,
Mhm.
I am going to put in a name. I'm going to type Milton L. Orr and choose search. And when I type Milton L. Orr, I find several things. This one I want to show to you because this is not a record about Milton L. Orr. When I click on him, you're going to see that there is a record that's a petition for citizenship for someone whose name is very hard to pronounce, who's from Poland. But way down in the bottom, you'll see that one of the people who signed this, he's a witness, was Milton. And it's not even, it says H or, but it's not supposed to be an H, it's supposed to be an L. Maybe at one point it was an L with a typewriter. He was the director of teacher training at Alabama College, and he signed as a witness. And here is his actual signature. So this is a record that's not about him, but a record that he signed as a witness. That's the kind of thing that you can find using this full text search. At the time when our ancestors were doing a lot of their records, they didn't use their full names. They used initials. If I do change that to ML or, you'll see that there are a lot more records. Now I can do a number of things. There's 536 records here. I could click on collection and I could choose a collection. I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to choose a place. There are records all over the world. I'm going to choose the United States, and then I'm going to choose Alabama. I could choose a county, but I'll just do that far. And I apply it. What I have now are records that have been digitized and indexed by artificial intelligence. So here's a probate record that is not indexed. I would have to look at this record by going through another index. Mary Banks Harris was Milton Lee Orr's mother-in-law. And he's down here someplace where this is a record of the sales. I can go from, he should be listed on here over the right. I don't even know where, but he was deceased. Oh, there he is over on this side. He was the party he did a petition of letters. These are the kind of things that you don't find when you're going through and having to look at the indexes. This one is in Bullock County. This is a probate record. Over here on the right, do you see some interesting things? It is artificially transcribed. It's using artificial intelligence, so it is not perfect, but especially when you're looking at something that is a lot of handwriting, these have a little bit of there's typing in here. These are the people who were, this is estate of Maddie Orr, and these are her children. So it's giving me all that information. And I was expecting soon. They transcribed her will, but it might have been in handwriting and still available through this full text search. Now, do you see here? This is a real good example of some of the things that may make this a little more difficult to use, but well, I don't think I'd call it difficult. It's just that it's finding things that this is an ML. So you have to be careful. You have to really look at it to make sure that it's finding, here's ML or that's in this administrator account. Using this full text search allows you to find just an enormous amount of previously unindexed information. Let's go back to, let's see if I do this better this time. You're going to tell me if you don't see what you're supposed to see. I'm going back to my PowerPoint.
You're there.
Oh, good. That's what I did the last time, but it didn't work. All right. So when you're using this full text search, there's some tips that you might want to use. It really is searching exactly what you look for. If you use quotation marks around Henry Jones, it will find Henry Jones together. If you search for Henry Jones without the quotation marks, it will find where Henry is listed and where Jones is listed. Sometimes you may want to add the plus symbol because maybe Henry Jones's wife's name is Judith, and you only want to get results that say Henry Jones plus his wife Judith. So if you have it search for Henry Jones plus Judith, you would have to have the word Judith and have to have the words Henry Jones put together. If you want to get rid of a person, you can use a minus symbol. So you can say something like Henry Jones minus John, which would get rid of any records that had John in them. You can use wildcards. You can use a question mark, but you can't use the question mark with quotation marks. So if you look for Jensen with a question mark in the middle there, you will find either Jensen's or Jensen's. I research Eichelbergers. Eichelbergers are spelled about 5 or 6 different ways, and I use this question mark a lot to replace letters to get as many results as I can. You can also use a asterisk to show part of a word, and it replaces more than one word. So if you use CAR, you'll find anybody with the words carpenter, carriage, cars, car. This can help you, like for Eichelberger. Sometimes I will type Eichel and then a star, and it will give me things that have Eichelberger and Eichelberger and different versions. So this is a game changer. If you have been using, I'm going to get back here because I want to show you this. If you have been using FamilySearch and have just been using the search function, you haven't been going in to the catalog, you haven't been going into the full text search, you haven't been going into the things that you can get a closer look at what your records would be. I want to talk a couple things about the FamilySearch family tree. This family tree gets a lot of negative publicity, mainly because it's a community tree. And so people are concerned because other people can make changes to it. This is an advantage and a disadvantage. And there are things that you can do to help you mitigate that problem. This is some of the things when you see something like this, it means that there's a record that you can see about that person. If you see a symbol like this, I had to create this because I've worked really hard at cleaning up my tree. That means that there's an error in your tree, and you want to look at that individual tree and make those corrections. If you go into a person, there's something else that's new. There is a research quality over here on the right. It shows the quality details, and this guy has a low quality score. And in order to see this quality score, it has to be English. It doesn't work on foreign languages. The ancestor has to have been born between 1800 and 1920, and they have to have been born in North or South America, Europe, or the United Kingdom. But the reason why this one has a low quality score, you look up here and you'll see he has no sources. He does have a collaborative comment or two made, and he has information. Things have been put in here, so he's got some information, but he's missing a lot, and this person needs to be worked on. Okay, let's look at a lab again. I'm going to go back and show you, well, no, I'm not. I'm going to show you another lab experiment because some of you just are never going to want to use the collaborative tree. And one thing that they have that is almost available, not quite yet, is the ability to load in with a JEDCOM or connecting to Ancestry or a person, a tree program that you have on your computers, to put in a private tree. This will be a tree like an ancestry tree where all users can see deceased persons, but only you as the owner and anyone that you invite to be a researcher can edit your tree. They have had something called genealogies. Genealogies allowed you to upload something to FamilySearch, to upload a GEDCOM, but it was permanent. Once you uploaded it, it stayed there. You couldn't change it. It didn't work with any of the finding aids that you have on FamilySearch. This will be new, and it allows you to invite other people to work with your tree. The record hints will be displayed just like they are in the regular FamilySearch family tree. It will match the family tree interface, and it brings in those third-party products to bring in, and this would be a private tree. Well, no, I shouldn't say private. It's not private. Other people can see it, but other people will not be able to make changes to it. And this should be available this year. So I covered a lot of information and pretty quickly. So I'm going to get out of here and see if you have anything that you would like to ask questions about.
We did have a comment.
Okay.
One of our members said that she is what you were talking about, it is in beta now and you can apply to participate. She said
Yes,
she's using it now.
kind of. I applied and haven't been chosen yet. So I applied a month ago. So I don't know how many people they want to be part of the beta, but and hopefully I mean, I like the family tree. One of the things you can do is follow your people. People will say things like, well, what do you think about those people who are 9 generations back? I don't worry about those people. I only worry about the part of the tree that goes as far back as I have researched. And so, yes, I know there's stuff that's back there farther that's incorrect. And if you go to relatives around me, I hope a lot of you have played with that. You'll find yourself as an 11th cousin to somebody through somebody you've never heard of. It's fun, but it may not be very accurate.
Somebody was asking, what did you say was the symbol for an error?
It's a red exclamation mark.
Okay.
And that shows that that there is an error in your records.
That's when you brought it up on your tree and you could see the exclamation mark next to that
Right.
gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I took that screenshot, I created an error so I would get an error. My tree is not perfect, but my direct line doesn't have any errors.
Okay. What can I do when I see an error on a record that shows that an ancestor was married before she was born?
First, you're going to want to do some research because you want to find out whether or not that person is the right person. Okay. You want to find out whether or not the dates are wrong. I mean, sometimes people just make a mistake. Mm-hmm. They put in, 1850 and they really meant to put in 1750. And if there are no records at all attached to that person, first thing I would do is do research on that person and find out what the correct is. And then you can make those changes.
Okay.
Any other questions, everyone?
How many of you, raise your hand, how many of you have used the full text search?
I have not.
I see a few of you. That's really a game changer right now because it allows you to see those records that were somewhat difficult. It was like you went to a library, courthouse and you pulled that book off the shelf and you started at the beginning and you looked at that index and then you found the next book. And using that full text search, it started off where all they were indexing was a few records. And I want to show you this. Let me show that. I think let's go. Let's make sure I'm on. I'm going to go back here and look at the full text search. And I want to show, can you see this?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
If I look at browse all collections, can you see there are now 3,437 collections? When I click on last updated, it shows that on the 14th of January, they updated these records. Things have been added to this. Just here's Kentucky Wills, but 3,000 when they first started this last Roots Tech, there were three record groups that were available. And there are now 3,437 record groups, and they've been updated. Just 2 months ago, they updated a whole lot of this information.
So they're hard at work. That's a good thing.
Yeah, there is so much out there. And I'm just amazed at the people who don't try all these things on the free one.
So one of our members, who's very organized, it looks like, she said she created a spreadsheet with all her full text finds with the links, surname, etc.
Oh, yes. That's a really good idea. You can create a research log. You can use either a spreadsheet to do that. You can use things like Airtable to do that and link directly to them.
Great.
That's
Does
a
anybody
great
else
idea.
have any other questions for Jamie before she finishes tonight? Is that it? I think there's.
Well, I hope you learned something that you haven't done before. That's what I'm hoping, is that you got something out of this. And I know you have somebody who's going to talk about more things from Roots Tech, but go on Roots Tech and look at some of their things that are still available for you to look at, and search by family search and you'll find a lot of information.
Thank you. And we got a thank you very much from one of our members as well, which I would like to say thank you as well. It was great meeting you, and we got your syllabus, which is full of information as well. So that'll help us along.
Yes,
So
yes,
thank
I
you,
hope.
Jamie, for participating tonight. It was really great to meet you, and it's
Thank you for inviting me.
perfect timing too, since everything is changing as well.
Well, that's why I was a little late in getting you my syllabus, because I knew there was some changes that were coming out that were going to be told, and I thought I've got to include them. I got to
Yeah, I
make
mean,
sure they
that's
get there.
really, really close to, yeah, very,
Yeah.
very good. Also,
All
so
right. Thank
you
you.
can go ahead and exit and enjoy your wonderful evening and the snow that you got.
Yes, yes. Well, we had a
And
fun day today.
yeah,
All righty. Thank you.
thanks,
Bye-bye.
Jamie. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, and with that, Greg, did you want to go ahead and do your slideshow yourself and do the presentation and share your screen?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Although what I really like to do is log off and get on Family Search and start doing some of the stuff that Jamie mentioned.
I think you're
But
gonna enjoy it.
let
Okay, so
me
then
share.
I'm gonna let you share since you've got it.
Okay.
And this is Greg Heil,
Um,
everyone. He's going to be doing our educational moment tonight with, he just came back from Roots Tech. So he's got some information. I saw your pictures. How lucky you were.
Yeah. I gotta figure out how to share the file though here. Um,
Is your presentation open?
oh, that would help, I guess.
Yeah, because that's one thing I've
Hang
learned.
on.
It has to be open in the background.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I have it open. Can you see that? Oh
Uh,
no,
let me
not
see.
yet.
Hang on, I gotta get it.
Okay.
No, I don't see it yet.
Mm,
Hang on, I might have it here. Hang on, let me see if I can bring my copy up. And let me share my screen. Hold on.
okay.
I think I got it. Okay. And I apologize if you're seeing all the other stuff that goes with it, but I'm kind of leery to hit the play button only because the last time I did this, it just locked up. So let me get slide only. So there we go. Can you see it? Is everybody there? Can you see it,
Yes.
Greg? Okay. Okay.
Okay. I cannot see it, but
Can everybody else see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this
okay.
is your cover page.
Okay. Well, I can figure it out. I have it open here, so
Do you want to do it yourself?
um
I'll stop sharing.
no, you can't see me sharing. You can't see my screen. So if you can do that, I'll just talk us through it. And so you see the blue one that says Root Check 2025.
Right, right.
Okay.
So
So if you can go to the next slide.
see, this is the problem I'm having an issue with is I can't, if I play it, it's like I lose control of my mouse. So I can't stop it or pause it. So let me just do this. So I'm going to click on the next slide. So there we have Salt Lake, beautiful.
Okay.
What is it? The Sawtooth Mountains, right?
I believe so. This is from my
Wasatch.
room
Wasatch.
on the, well, I think the Wasatch are on the other side. I could be wrong. But the
Okay.
temperature was anywhere from about 25 to 45 degrees while we were there. The weather actually wasn't bad. And you'll see a swimming pool down there.
Yeah, I
There
saw
was
that.
actually people swimming in that pool on occasion. But this is from the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The buildings you see right below it is part of the Salt Palace Convention Center, so it's all attached. So I never had to go outside the entire time of the conference. You go to the next slide. This is looking at it from the other side. So you're getting a shot of downtown Salt Lake City. And I believe those are the Wasatch Mountains behind it.
Okay.
Uh,
And then
next
here's your
slide.
stats.
That's the Family Search Library. I had intended to spend 2 full days there, and I did spend some time there, but not as much as I thought I was going to. I wish I had had more of the information that Jamie was talking about because all of the things that she mentioned and was showing was not there on the in the library yet. And
Hmm.
but I was there a couple days before Rootstack. My suggestion in the future would be that if you're going to spend time in the library, do it afterwards, after you've been at Rootstack. stuff's familiar, there's new stuff, um, go afterwards. And I think you'll find a lot more stuff going on and more help to you.
So it looks
Okay,
like
next.
so it looks like they had 5,000 people attend, huh?
Well, yeah, if you go to the next slide, um,
The stats slide, the one you're looking at, or the next one?
the stats slide.
Right.
There were a ton of people there. I have yet to find any place where it says exactly what the in-person attendance was. And so that's my estimate. Somewhere around 4 or 5,000 people were there. Saturdays, it goes Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturdays is family days. So you have a lot of people come in, lots and lots of kids were in there. And it's more crowded than the other place, the other 2 days. They
Okay.
say there were 492,000 904 people that were available online. I have
Hmm.
no way of verifying that. That's a lot of people. Um, there were 154 in-person workshops that you can go to. I'm going to tell you about a couple of them in a couple minutes. Online sessions, 239 that were given in a number of different languages, and they were done all over the world. And if you had signed up for it, you can still go back and look at the online sessions,
Got it.
um, which I will be doing. I think there's some there that I want to see again, and some that, I mean, there's just so many going on that you can't possibly get to everything. And
Right.
so doing some of it online, I think will be very helpful.
Okay. And then
160,
I'm
yes.
going to show your keynote speakers. So do
Well,
you
let
have
me,
that
before
one?
you do that, keep it on the stats. There were 162 exhibitors, different booths, and they have a thing where you can find your relatives. Um, According to them, there were 586 of my relatives that were there, and I'm actually going to show you one in a minute. And 32,089 people are related to me that were part of the 492,000 people that have signed up. And I've actually run into a few of those people.
Hmm.
Okay, now the keynoters. Um, each day there was a general session, and I got some pictures. I'll show you those in a minute. Steve Rockwood is the CEO of FamilySearch. He very good speaker. Rachel Platten. If you've heard of the song "Fight Song," this is my fight song.
Mhm.
That's Rachel Platten.
Ah,
And she was one of the speakers. Did a very nice job. Dana Tanamachi is a visual artist, and she was talking mostly about, she's from New York City, has a Jewish, New York is one side of the family, Japanese is the heritage on the other side of the family. And she was speaking about how she was able to blend those two cultures together and through her art.
hmm. Okay, next slide is,
And next slide are some other keynote speakers.
oh,
Terry
grandson of
Davis,
Nelson Mandela.
yes. Terry Davis Woodhall and Hunter Woodhall were our Olympic athletes. They were medal winners at the last Olympics. Los Chicaneros is a family that is, they are very, very popular podcasters throughout the Spanish speaking world. And they were talking about, um, they call themselves a regular family, and very interesting.
Cool. Uh,
Nadaba
sorry.
Mandela he's actually one of the virtual keynoters, and we just got to see in person a couple minutes of him speaking. Um very good speaker, and I'm going to go back and listen to him online. But his grandfather was Nelson Mandela, and he talks about growing up as part of the Mandela family and what impacts that has had on his life. And go to the next slide. This is one of the general sessions. I'm sitting up close to the front, and you can see it's a little hard to see, but you can see a whole lot of people there. That's probably half the audience. It goes all the way back. There's probably 1,000 people in the room. That is Steve Rockwood, the CEO of FamilySearch. He leads off at the very beginning of each one. The
Cool.
next slide is the major sponsors of Rutex are the bigger companies: Ancestry, FamilySearch, of course, MyHeritage, and several others. They always get an opportunity to speak in these general sessions, along with the booths they have in the expo hall. This one was Ancestry.com. Does anybody recognize the speaker?
Mm-hmm. Christy
It's
Cowan.
Krista Cowan.
Mhm.
Um, it turns out, I was telling you about Find a Relative.
You're related?
There's Krista and myself. We are
Really?
11th cousins, so we go
Ah,
back a way.
wow.
But she was one of the people that I wanted to meet, and finally was able to.
That's
One of
cool.
the Yeah, it was great. One of the product announcements they had for Ancestry was a new thing that I think would be very interesting. Um, it allows you to add networks of people who are not directly related to them. So many religious groups emigrated from one place and they ended up in all in one place. My family, for example, came from Finland, and a large number of them ended up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then a bunch of others came to California and other places. But you can now try and track those and be able to have more of a community search. I think that's going to be real exciting.
Cool.
Um, the other one that I wanted to talk about a little bit is in the next slide. The rumor was Family Tree Maker was going to release their updated app. You'll notice it's called Family Tree Maker 2024. And I know a lot of people, myself included, were asked to purchase the update over a year ago with the promise that it was going to come out very soon. It still hasn't come out. And their signage all said Family Tree Maker 2025, but when you went up to um, the booth, and they had, as you can see on the right side, this is a quote from them. They had all sorts of stuff, but when you came down where it says at the end, they'll answer all your support questions. My question was, where is it? And the response was, it'll be in minutes, hours, or days.
Well, that's awful
Um,
consoling.
yeah, yeah. I found
Okay.
out just today that they are now saying that it will be released before April the 5th. They didn't
Hmm.
say which year, but I'm hoping it's going to be 2025.
How funny.
So, um,
Oh,
yeah,
there's
it
you. There's
was,
you and your cousin again.
yeah.
And then next one, let's see, from past to
The
present.
next, this is me, and the lovely lady next to me's name is Kate Penny Howard, and she will be speaking to us in, I
Mhm.
believe, July.
Okay, so this is
Um,
Kate Penny Howard, correct?
yes,
Yeah,
she
because her
is
hair
a
isn't that
disciple.
color. So I was
Huh?
wondering. I said her hair is a different color in her marketing materials. So that's why I didn't recognize.
Well, she calls that chemo curls.
Mm,
Um, Kate was diagnosed with breast cancer. I think about a year and a half ago, she went through um, chemo, radiation, the whole thing. She's now doing fine. Um, she is a Disciples of Christ minister, um, and I am as well. And we are able to connect. Um, she had to step down from her church, and she's started just this past Sunday, I guess, working as a part-time co-pastor at a church, which gives her more time to do genealogy. And
oh,
she and two other ladies did a very interesting presentation on genetic genealogy, NPEs or non-parental events, and Katie especially talked about empathy, how to handle those situations because they can be very, very emotional, very jarring, and very disruptive of families. And what's the best way that you can convey truth, but at the same time do it in a manner that is not damaging as much to people. She was really, really good. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from her in more detail in July.
okay.
The next one, um, this is the Kentucky Genealogical Society's booth. I'm a member. I do a video group as a co-leader with them every month and half for the last few years. This is Kathy Keyser and Susan Court, um, who are the co-presidents of it. I came Thursday morning about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and dropped by. They said, drop by at some point. And I said, okay. I came by and they were slammed with people.
Wow.
Um, and I said, "Do you guys want some help?" They said, "Oh my God, yes." And I spent probably half of RUSEC with them in the booth helping out. There were that many people there. And they had, you can't see it, but in front of the ladies is a map of Kentucky. And people would come by, we would ask them where their roots are, and we had a little sticker we put down. one of the differences between Kentucky and California, how many counties are there in California?
I have no idea. 30 plus?
58.
Hmm.
There are 58 counties. In um, Kentucky,
Kentucky?
there are 120.
Oh my gosh.
Much smaller state, but more than double the number of counties.
Wow.
One of our counties in California is the size of the state of West Virginia. Um, so that's San Bernardino
Wow.
County, where I used to live.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's the way they do genealogy there is much different than we do it here in California. Everything there is county centered. There is no state library. Everything is done at the county level. Some of those counties are very, very, very small. Um, they also have the largest number of cemeteries of any place in the United States. The Commonwealth of Kentucky has 23,000 cemeteries, um, which is a lot. um, and so, what they are doing in Kentucky is they are working with FamilySearch to try and digitize all of the records that have not yet been digitized. And that requires going to all 120 counties and getting the records from there, figuring out what's been digitized, what hasn't been digitized, and then going forth and doing it. And FamilySearch has been instrumental in that. And they are bringing all the equipment and stuff, setting up each county courthouse, meeting with the county clerk, getting the records assembled, and digitizing them. It's going to be a long process.
Wow.
Um, and they started, I guess, about a year or so ago. And the county clerks in Kentucky also manage the elections. And so apparently we had an election back in November, and that took up a lot of time. So they all
Hmm.
pretty much said, hang on, wait, and we'll start up again. And this is exactly what's been
Okay.
going on.
And then your last slide is
My
your
last
device.
slide is my new BFF, um, CC Moore, who we probably all know is one of my heroes in genealogy, and I got the chance to meet her.
Cool.
And she had done a presentation. Um, she did a workshop on um, the TV show with Dr. Gates, Finding Your Roots. She's been the gene in charge of the DNA part all along. And she was telling us how that process goes and gave us a preview of the Finding Your Roots show in coming up in April, in which she will be the host and the guest will be Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr.
Awesome. Okay.
And
We
that was it.
awesome. Thank you for your time on that. Let me
Sure.
stop sharing here and bring up. So let me bring up our final slide. Whoops. Let me try to get to it. Like I mentioned earlier in one of the slides, I believe I went over our upcoming speakers. We currently do not have a reserved speaker for June. Let me share my screen with everybody. Sorry about this. Okay, let's see here. So we have Tina Beard, I don't know if you can see this or not, full screen. Anyway, Tina Beard will be speaking in April regarding Scotland's resources. Then May 8th, we have our annual business meeting and a show and tell. And as mentioned before, let me go to this slide real quick. Let's see, which one was it? Future ideas, the show and tell. There we go. They still, please share your ancestral stories, heirlooms, crafts, visit to the homelands, trips and insights. Deadline for any data, documents or presentations that you want to do during that meeting. You can email them to Joseph at events@cccgs.net, and the deadline is April 28th. And again, our meeting will be May 8th. And if anyone is interested in presenting future educational moments, please email your suggestions to events@cccgs.net, or let us know what you might be interested in. We'll see if we can find someone who's able to present it for one of our meetings as well. So here again, a reminder of our membership business. We're looking for still volunteers who would like to serve on our board. There's still an opening. If interested, email elections@cccgs.net. Voting will begin this Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day at 8 a.m. And all the members will be receiving an email with instructions on how to get to the voting ballot links. So with that, I think I've covered everything. So I would like to thank everybody for their time. And let me see, I think I have two more. Let's see. Okay, we had some comments about 254 counties in Texas. That's a boatload. And everyone thanks you, Greg, for your presentation as well. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. And everyone have a great weekend and a St. Patrick's Day if you're Irish. Enjoy. Good night, everyone.
Good night.